Coming to you from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, this is The Stand with your hosts, Shane Williams and Lance Dobbs. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Stand. Before we start getting into other serious news, we're going to start off with a couple of housekeeping notes. Just to remind folks that we are a very small operation. We're just doing it in a room, just the two of us. And we're doing it on our free time on the weekends. So we're pretty much doing it from the heart. That's the true definition of what I think is a patriot. That we're taking our free time to get you the news and information and what's really happening behind everything.
So we're going to show the room that we're in, show what we're doing, how we're doing it.
Pretty much, this is our operation. You got a live feed there. And
computer.
Just a computer, a mic, and a camera. Again, we have no script, no teleprompter. So what we say is just coming from the heart, from our minds. So we're just going to start getting into some of the big news that's going on right now. The big thing right now is Chief Justice Scalia's death. One of the biggest people, ultra-conservative members of the justice. So pretty much what's been going on with that is what the media is trying to push out to everybody is that nothing to see here. Everything is fine. He just died of natural causes without an investigation, without anybody looking into what actually happened, and then finding a pillow on his face. It's very suspect. A lot of swirling controversies happening with that right now.
So the thing was, he was declared dead over the phone by the doctor. Like, the doctor never even saw his body. His family also did not order an autopsy to find out how he actually died. So there are a lot of reasons to think he was probably killed. And there are a lot of things that are actually in the justice courts right now that are going to be passed that needed him as a key support for the conservatives and the Republican side. Basically, he was basically the spokesman for the justice court. He was on there for 29 years, longest standing justice. And so yeah, we're going to talk about some of the things that are going to be passing due to his death, that are since it's going to be a 4 versus 4 in the court, and it was technically a 5 versus 4, so he held the decision of basically if things would pass or not. So some of the things, we'll start off with the first one, which is...
But before we start, Lance,
okay.
We just want to let you know we're not we're just speculating that this possibly is murder. We're not going to say that it is. We're not forensic analysts or anything else like that. We're not we're not professionals. Yeah, but reading the articles, looking over what's going on, you know, if it walks like a duck, acts like a duck, the only thing, it must be a duck. So what we're trying to say is that this looks like a murder, straight up. And then the whole silent message of putting the pillow on his face is for the other Chief Justice to sleep, go along with the program. Nothing to see here, folks. There's no droids here. So, little Star Wars reference there. So we'll just continue on. So what is the big impact of his death?
So the first one we're going to talk about is these are cases that are going to be happening in the next couple months in the Supreme Court Justice. We're going to start off with the one called Friedrichs versus California Teachers Association. So basically, it was a 5-4 vote before he was dead. This is going to make it to where public sector unions are going to be able to force the rest of the employees to have to pay fees to work.
Right.
Is what it comes down to.
So in order for you to work, non-union employees, you will have to pay a fee. So like the job that we do, I'm not going to say where, but the work that we do, we are non-union employees. So in order for us to work, we're gonna have to pay a fee to work. Awesome, just phenomenal stuff. I mean, and we're reading based off different articles and stuff like that. So if you see us looking, we're on our very small operation. This is what we're doing. We're just reading articles that are out there to everybody, for everyone to view. Of course, we're going to link this to our YouTube video. And down in the little drop-down box, just click that, and then you'll see all the links and everything else where you can see the information that we got ours. So again, phenomenal stuff. So in order for you to work, I mean, this is just insane what they're going to be able to pass.
And so we're going to jump into the next one. The next big one is called U.S. versus Texas.
Right.
Now, this is a big thing about the DREAM Act and illegal immigrants. And so, basically, it was another 5-4. All of these are going to be 5-4, and now Justice Scalia is dead, so it's all 4-4. And so, basically, when it's 4-4, nothing can get thrown out.
Right.
It's all going to be a tie. And ties usually win. So
99.99% will pass because there is no other vote to disapprove all these things that are going on.
So, you want to talk about the immigration one?
Yeah, so pretty much what it's saying is U.S. versus Texas is that they want to deport 5.5 million immigrants that are here illegally, that are... Let me just make one thing clear. It's not focusing on South Americans, Mexicans, or anything else like that. We just make sure that we get this point across. It's for all illegal immigrants. And I know the narrative that's been put out for everybody that when you hear the word illegal immigrants, you automatically think of South Americans, Mexicans, and stuff like that. That's not the case. It's for all illegals. All right? So when they talk about not having illegals here, this is what we're talking about. So once they step foot on American soil, once they're in school, pretty much they are American citizens. And so what they want to do is now have all illegals just stay here like it's nothing going on. So
if they're in college, if they're in one of our school systems, and if they have served any sort of military service or on a government job, they get to stay.
Right.
No matter what. And then go to the third and fourth case. These two cases are pretty linked together. This is more of, it's called Enowell versus Abbott and Harris versus Arizona Independent Redistricting. And this is more just for like electoral votes and basically how they split up areas for voting in like your cities, like Clark County, Ely, all of our counties. This is how they split it up. And the conservatives had like a fast track because it was 5-4, so they could fast track some of these things straight to the Justice Court. But now they have to go through before they get to the Supreme Court, they're going to have to go through the federal appellate courts, and those things could take years.
Right.
And then they have to go through appeals process with all those. But since they didn't have to do that, since Justice Scalia was in power, he allowed all the Tea Party and conservative groups to bypass those. And so basically, it's a win for liberals and Democrats in the sense for this one, because they stopped the Tea Party from acting and going so quick and doing their agenda. And then we'll get to the fifth and sixth, and I'll let Shane talk about this one.
All right, so I think that this is possibly the biggest one that they're going to be passing. So pretty much it's the women's whole health versus Hellerstedt, and then Zubiak versus Birdwell. Geez. All right, so pretty much what they want to do is when they have an abortion, they want you, the Christian, or whatever your religion is, to pay for that abortion. I mean, it's just unreal. So because you want abortions and everything else like that, or you're against it and everything, you then would have to pay for that person to get abortion. I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. So if you look at Hillary's campaign, who's she being funded by? Planned Parenthood, which is all about abortions. This fits perfectly for her campaign. I mean, the bread trails are there. We'll have this link and multiple other ones with the other articles on our YouTube video. So the next big thing that's happening in the world, we have Saudi Arabia wants to arm Syria. They want to call for almost 400,000 troops to be pushed into Syria, pretty much causing a third world war with Russia. Now, who else is in on this? Well, we also got NATO, which has been openly admitted now that it's they're funding ISIS and everything else. We'll have multiple articles for that too. It's just phenomenal stuff going on, unprecedented stuff. I'm talking about we are about to enter a third world war with the Russians. This isn't the Cold War. This is boots on ground, fighting with the Russians. U.S. will be involved. It's just crazy.
They probably won't say it's going to be a war at first.
Oh, yeah.
They'll try the trickery and stuff like that, just saying, like we did in Libya, where we put 10,000 troops on the ground in Libya.
Yep.
And said it was just an operation.
Just an operation, a cover-up. And then, or they just might say it's a proxy war like we're already doing right now in Syria. You know, having war through proxy with these quote-unquote rebels, which have also been known as ISIS troops. So, huge stuff going on. It's just, there's a lot of articles that are going on right now, ladies and gentlemen, that honestly, for a weekly show, we don't have the resources and everything else like that. So that's why we always preach, like us, support us, subscribe to our channel. We then can build and then hopefully get all these articles and big stuff going on in the world. So like I said, Saudi troops to Syria can only lead to one thing, war with Russia. After that, Third World War is imminent. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. It might not. Hopefully not. I, married with wife and kids. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen for the rest of the world. I hope it doesn't happen to my friends who are in the military. So, ladies and gentlemen, take the stand for liberty. Again, this is Lance and Shane with the stand.
And so we'll also be talking about First Amendment rights and how those are going to be being impeached on the next show. So
please like us, support us, share us. That's the only way we're going to grow. That's the only way we're going to be able to get the word out to everybody else.
And then you want to tell them that we're going to be having like public speakers on here too, or
might as well. And so stay tuned. We're trying to get people on our show to help spread the word about the narrative of what's going on with the globe's elitist takeover, and try not to. And that's it. So this is Shane and Lance signing off for the stand.